here we are back in Exogenesis. We're now moving into the 4th night. We're still trying to recruit AG. Without anything further, let's go ahead and just jump back in. Things are looking up. As long as I don't say anything stupid, AG should be willing to help out soon. Gotta be very careful with what I say and do inside the Empyrean. Let's do this. And we'll move in close and let's check out the sign. It's the place to be if you want to hang out with drunk dudes and a weird maid girl. Old recruitment poster by Nomad Group. And that's still there. Speaking of things still being there, welcome back, Master. Lively as ever, aren't you? Would you prefer a gloomy greeting? Welcome back. Just kidding. Be careful doing that to other customers. It might not work as smoothly. But everyone's nice in the Empyrean. Except herders, that is. The regulars are really fun to talk to. Fun for a doormat, maybe. Master? Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad you enjoy whatever torture AG's putting you through. Torture? I enjoy my job, really. Sure looks that way. Yep, your friendly maid is always here to cheer you up. I'm fine, thanks. Can I go now? Oh, of course. I'm sorry for holding you up. No harm done. Perfect. Enjoy your stay, Master. Let's get this over with. What terrible joke does he have in store for me this time? Looks like he's injured. His hands are all wrapped up. Thinking hard about your next joke? No, never. I'm glad you like them. I don't really. Alright then. It's time for a new hilarious joke. Are you ready for this? We've been through this before, so why not? Perfect. So there are two fish in a tank. What does one fish say to the other fish? It's cramped in here? Nope, the fish in the tank told the other fish, how do you drive this thing? Damn it. Wait, there's more. There is? Of course there is. What did the other fish say? I can never guess. The other fish said, holy mackerel, it's a talking fish. That was so funny it blew your mind, right? Admit it. It was mind-blowingly dumb, that's for sure. Oh, you are so boring. Where is your sense of humor? Out of your reach, I'd say. Profile updated. And I'm kind of curious to see what they have to say about our good buddy Blue here. Okay, they just want to point out his injured hands. Let's talk to the knife-wielding maniac. Okay, this is starting to look like one of those standoffs you see in an old western. With a blink of an eye, Sugeki's knife flew through the air, narrowly missing you. Will you at least stop staring? Fine. You're skilled with the knife. You're insightful enough to make spot-on observations on how Nomad Groups operates. You come here every night. Clearly you haven't stepped on enough toes to be on the run, yet stabbing people is your expertise. Correction, I'm good at throwing knives too. Never missed a mark. You smirked smugly. Sugeki stared and clicked his tongue. Not when I intend to kill them, at least. Right, the point is, what do you do for a living exactly? Professional killers never stay in one place. If mugging people is your thing, it gets harder to do your job in a place everyone knows is a hotbed of racketeers. I'm a consultant. Sugeki rolled up his left sleeve to reveal a biochip on his arm covered by skin. Sanctus allocates valuable resources to ensure their higher-ups don't fall into a ditch. That, or do something equally stupid. No way. Unbelievable, right? So don't bother asking me about it. You're such a hotshot, what are you doing in this humble dump? Shouldn't you be sharing luxury wine with your clients? Ever been in a room with stuck-up high and mighty Sanctus brass? It's as suffocating as you can imagine. Didn't think you were the type to cave under pressure. If by that you mean the pressure not to kill insufferable creatures who should be swimming in radioactive waste, then yeah, I'd rather choke on my own spit. I'm impressed honest, you almost sound legit. I wish I had something more exciting for your simple brain, like that I kill people and eat their brains or something. Sadly, that's just not the case. Isn't keeping Sanctus officials scratch-free a full-time stint? How can you usually drink in the Empyrean every night with that kind of job description? Those pigs never leave their fancy chambers at night. Hell, they spend most of their days in there. Gotta wonder what they need me for sometimes. The only threats against their safety are assassins. Funny thing is, you have to be a publicly known official first before a bounty is put on your head. Most of these officials are shrouded in mystery. You do the math. So your real job is to keep them from shooting themselves in the foot. How do you score a racket like that? It's the long story of long stories, but simply I had an impressive resume and they hired me for it. That doesn't sound too far-fetched, I suppose. I'm not trying to convince you. I don't believe much of anything either. The real truth in this world will only come out when I put Darla against someone's throat. Okay, the real truths in this world only come out. I was thinking there might have been some sort of grammar problem in there, but I must have misread it. You don't have to go that far for me to go be straight with you, really. And the sky is hot pink. Riddle me this then, Mr. Consultant. What do you think happened to AG's Nomad group? I'm not asking for historical facts or your interpretations of the various rumors about it. Given the circumstances, why would AG part with his commune? Why don't you give it a rest? If AG wanted to burn bridges, he had every right to. I know, I'm asking for your professional opinion on the matter. Tsugeki sighed, defeated. It seemed there'd be no fending off you, whose inquisitive eyes never once wavered. Nomad leaders often have the same problems depending on the tribe's population. Smaller groups may be easier to maintain, but they're more vulnerable to outside forces. It's not unheard of for larger groups to harass smaller groups, whether it's to steal all their supplies, or force them to merge, in which case it's the new blood that'll be forced to do the more dangerous tasks for their new overlords. I've always avoided groups, but I know what you're talking about. Hunting, stealing, exploring potentially radioactive areas, you'll need tough, often unwilling volunteers for these. Plus you have expendables, new recruits eager to prove their worth. When your tribe gets assimilated by a larger one, you either die trying to secure a place in the pack, or you get left behind. And it's the leader's responsibility to keep everyone alive. The leader also has to decide whether the group should stay small or increase its numbers. That's what you're saying, right? That about sums it up. Leaders of larger groups have a different set of problems. They cannot downsize without causing internal conflicts. One wrong move can lead to a dog-eat-dog scenario. Then everyone's dead before you know it. Leaders' decisions determine whether the tribe has to hunt for smaller groups. Then they have to decide whether these small fry are to be assimilated or not. They need to keep the group's numbers in check and be charismatic and dominating enough to be followed. They must win the respect of the majority to maintain order. Sometimes they have to deal with uprisings and political maneuvering as well. When the group grows too large, it's the leader's call if there's a need to discard a few bodies and how. Among those many problems, I don't see anything that can stop AG. He's pretty strong for someone who chose the easy life behind a bar counter. I thought so too. If I was a betting man, I'd put my money on indecision. That doesn't sound like something AG has any trouble with. If you haven't noticed, pretty gruesome things happen to smaller groups when they're taken over. The big fish feeds on the anchovies. When they are not assimilated, the smaller groups are fucked with. AG must have acted like most leaders out of necessity, and being at the top took its toll. Can you decide with a straight face that a number of people must be led to their deaths for the good of everyone else? I stayed away from groups to avoid those awkward situations in the first place. I don't know how AG got a big commune for himself. Whether he killed the former leader or he had an enterprising mindset, I have no idea. But all the tough calls he had to make and the sacrifices he had to take along the way could have played a role in his decision to leave the top spot. This is all speculation, though. In all the years we've known each other, you never once mentioned being the leader of any group. Your guess is as good as mine. It doesn't look like Tsugeki has any insider info. Sounds like an honest man, proud of his work, showing me how it's done. AG, what the hell happened? just repeated himself, so I sped through it. Let's check on our buddies Haru and Nobu. What do you want? Let's talk about our counterfeit biochip. So how'd that fake biochip turn out for you? Looks like Nobu is here still alive. It's a multiple choice question. A. Nobu has no balls. Or B. Nobu's balls are so microscopic that they may as well not exist. Screw you, asshole. I'm just waiting for the right opportunity. Opportunity? You heard me. I can't just walk into the Sanctus camp so they can blow my head off. When's the right time, then? When you're sober? That ain't ever gonna happen. The time will come. Good luck with that. Sanctus ain't all sunshine and rainbows. I can drink to that, Captain Obvious. What do you want? Let's talk about making AG leave. Man, I'm stumped. Wish you could go back to your Charlton days? Prancing around looking for junk that might be a wee bit more valuable than other junk? It ain't happening unless you hop into a time machine. If time machines existed, we'd have time travelers walking among us right about now. What do you know about anything? For one, your crew botched the Golden Dream hunt so bad it was the failure of the century. Even if you did go back to your old ways, what else is there that could be considered treasure? Maybe they crawl in them sewers and find Septimus's golden crap. That ought to fetch a fortune from collector folks. Odds are I understand the market better than some redneck self-proclaimed hero in a dingy bar, but I have to agree with you there. Treasure hunting's an oversaturated business. We'll have to really think outside the box if we want to find something new. I'm not too concerned about that, though. AG just isn't fit for a desk job. Maybe so, but you need to look at things from his perspective. After a life of adventure highlighted by an epic failure, who wouldn't want to settle down? He might look tough on the outside, but who knows how badly he was scarred on the inside back then. Running this bar also gives him a chance to play the Good Samaritan. That has to be a comfortable position to be in after you've been through some crazy shit. Looks like there are just too many perks to staying at the Empyrean to run around with a brat like you. You settled down quite nicely for sure. Is this really the life for AG, though? There may be an angle I can exploit here. But what is it? So, AG prefers a more active lifestyle, or he's more worried about the regulars? And from what we've been learning, it's more likely to be the regulars. The Empyrean's been around for roughly 2 years. Could it be that AG has grown an inseparable fondness for the place? Is it his concern for the bar's regulars that's stopping him from joining me and bringing Miho back? Okay, we've talked to them. Let's go ahead and talk to AG now. Still hasn't fixed the sign. Kind of expecting a stray breeze to just knock that O down. Grumble, grumble, grumble. Was it this time? Herders paid you a visit again? No, this stupid piece of crap won't work. Ah, radio's broken. It should be something you can easily fix. If that were the case, I wouldn't be so annoyed right now. Whoa, take it easy, old man. Let me take a look at that. You inspected the broken radio, pressing all its buttons and turning the tuning wheel. It made no sounds no matter which frequency you tried to tune into. The lights were on, however. It's powered up, but it's not doing anything. Got that right. What a piece of crap. No point getting all riled up about it. Anger clouds judgment, right? Or have you lost the ability to control your temper after only a couple of years? I don't need a lecture from you. This garbage should be working, but it isn't. Jeez, why are you so worked up? I have an idea why, but I probably shouldn't tell him. Don't want to hurt his pride. Fine, let me look at it, okay? I'll get this radio running in a jiffy. From the looks of it, I can't do much without tinkering with the radio's insides. You have a screwdriver I can use? If I did, I'd have dissected that damn radio a decade ago. So, that's the problem. You really don't have a screwdriver lying around. That's strange. Do I look like a toolbox to you? Before you ask, it's been a while since I ran maintenance on my crossbow. Fair enough. I'll have to come back later once I can open the broken radio then. Can we talk to him, or do we have to find a screwdriver? Another freeloader in my bar, eh? Nomad Blues. Do I really want to talk about AG's golden days with nomads? He seems seriously guarded about the topic. If I make a wrong move now, he will shut me out and I'll be back to square one. I feel you would still allow me to visit this place, that is. Before I pursue this topic, I should have sufficient evidence that I can use for leverage. I can't just accuse him of things. I can't just accuse him of things and expect him to welcome me with open arms if I get facts wrong. So am I really ready to talk about this? May as well, unless we're supposed to fix the radio first. This is the moment of truth. There is no turning back. After that long-winded reminiscing, this is the perfect time to dig deeper and see if I can change his mind about Miho and the Ark. He's saying there's nothing to his past, but that can't be right. I know he's keeping something from me, and I just need him to open up. Which angle should I exploit? Alright, I got something now. Let's see. Let's go with motivations. Eiji's probably worried about what's going to happen to the Empyrean's regulars if he leaves, huh? Come to think of it, we don't even need to go that far back. You and I, we both have pasts we'd rather leave behind. Yes, and while we're at it, let's agree that the dead stay dead. We've both lost loved ones. Dead people become memories of the past, and that past will never catch up to the present. I'll reserve my opinion on that for later once Genius Kid tells me he was somehow wrong about Noah's Ark. Anyway, that's besides the point. The real issue here is more recent. The past 2 years, to be exact. Really now? I don't know how you secured a place like this, but the last 2 years must have been real fruitful. The Empyrean ain't exactly a booming business. You couldn't care less about that. Your real purpose in staying here. It's definitely not that you got tired of all the excitement back in the day. You told me once before that in movement there is life. The only difference between the living and the dead is that the living breathe and that the living breathes and moves. So, why are you staying in one place? The answer is simple. And that is... So... Decisions. Let's go with he's found something more valuable than life. Turning your back on philosophy is quite the statement. It's clear to me that you found something more important than survival. This bar, it's more symbolic than anything. Did the door hit your head on the way here? No, but maybe you did, because going from survival to servitude is a pretty huge change. You found something more valuable than life. Rather, you found a new meaning for life. Running in a place where the distraught can forget their worries with booze. It's rather poetic, considering you're the type who'd go on treasure hunts for the selfish benefit of your own group. Something changed in Eiji's eyes that took you aback. The momentary pause allowed Eiji to take the helm. What do you know about servitude? What? All your life, you've never had to worry about anything other than Miho's survival and yours. I cannot call you selfish given that fact. But you've always lived in this small world in your head where there's only room for you and your little sister. Service is not as simple as doing something for someone else. Until you understand this basic fact, you have no business telling me what's important in life and what isn't. Eiji, what the heck are you talking about? This is elementary, you. Someone whose motivation is so straightforward can't possibly understand what it means to really serve someone. This has something to do with your former nomad group, doesn't it? Whatever. Come on, I'm not going to be satisfied with whatever. I don't know why your past as a nomad is such a touchy subject. Good thing I don't really care about what satisfies you and what doesn't, then. You don't like how I'm treating you? Door's open. Eiji? That's probably as far as I can go with this line of questioning. Eiji still won't budge. Maybe I have no choice but to do the special measures Midori was talking about. Let's talk about the indecision then. I think I know why you'd rather close the door on the past. You say it was no big deal, but parting with your old crew was the most important moment of your life. It certainly wasn't another Tuesday. I think you're spouting nonsense because you have no idea what you're talking about. How about that? Believe it or not, I consulted one of Sanctus's top think tanks for this. So I'm inclined to agree that rumors about you being a former nomad leader are true. In Given the challenges faced by nomad groups everywhere, you had to make scathing decisions. All the tough calls took their toll until you couldn't take it anymore. AG listened quietly, both disinterested and slightly annoyed painted on his face. I hate to say this, but everyone folds under pressure. Everyone. Eventually, you did too, so you left your commune to search for the meaning of life, or whatever. That was right before we met, and the rest is history. Revisionist history is more like it. I'd like to say history is written by the victors, but there are no winners in this conversation. We're both wasting our time. I suppose history can be written by nosy little pricks as well. Maybe the face-stabbing, knife-flipping alcoholic consultant made a wrong assessment. Imagine that. You can't be in a talking mood after that long conversation. I shouldn't push my luck. Okay, Okay, there she is. Boss, where are you going? AG seemingly stormed down the bar, drawing the attention of the customers, if only for a short moment. AG, your conversation must have been tough on him. I've never been in a position to decide who lives or dies. But I understand how it feels to be hounded by bad memories. Was I too hard on him? Boss, he looked down. I've never seen him that way before. I'm sorry. Did you two have an argument? No, it's nothing. Forget what I said. Okay. And that's how you talk to her. Do I go out this way? No dead bodies in there, so must be storing bottles of booze. How do I get out of here without talking to her? What's over here? Mysterious corner of the Empyrean. Who knows what I can find in there? This could be my only chance to snoop around and learn about AG's secrets, but should I? If he ever finds out, I'll never hear the end of it. Let's go in. It's a risk I have to take. If I am to convince AG to join me, I'll need leverage. Hopefully I can find something in there that will give me an edge. Gotta do it without getting caught. I have to be quick and find out as much as I can before AG comes back. Restroom is this way, right? You asked loud enough for everyone else to hear. Master, that's not... You went through the curtain in a hurry, pretending not to hear Ayame's warning. And that's where the demo ends. So there's a nice little cliffhanger for you guys, and I don't know when exactly the full game is supposed to be released, but from my experience with Kickstarters and just reading about them in general, I don't think they've ever finished their product on the promised date, so you may have to wait a month or two after the predicted date to finally get it. So as to my thoughts about this, the art style is decently enough for what they're trying to do. It's supposed to have somewhat of an anime look since it's inspired by Phoenix Wright, Zero Escape, things along those lines. We've only encountered one real puzzle room so far that's in the same vein as 999 where you have to escape. It's pretty simple, but it's your introduction, so it's understandable. I expect later ones to be a little bit more complicated, we'll have to see. And we haven't really gotten enough insight into the cast, but if it's like 999, eventually they're all going to betray us at least once on one of the routes, so don't get attached. Anyway, I have backed the project myself. I'm looking forward to what's going to turn up in the end. And hopefully the developers don't mess up. No pressure or anything, of course. But otherwise, that wraps this up. Can't really think of anything else to say, but if it comes up, I'll go ahead and put it in the description. I'm the Hero of Light. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.